Hey, what's going on everybody? JP here from Wander to Get Lost, and this is going to be an update video on what exactly been going on for the past couple of weeks and what happened to our RV. Stick around and I'll tell you. Alright everybody, so if anybody's been following us on Instagram, you would have seen that I posted some pictures in our stories and some reels about our RV engine being rebuilt. This all started, I guess, a few months ago, but before that, just to get into everything, I guess everybody's seen that, if you've been following this channel for a while, that we've been doing lots of upgrades to our RV. And especially this past fall, I did a number of upgrades: spark plugs, ignition coils, and I completely redid the exhaust manifolds and the whole exhaust system, because we had cracked exhaust manifolds and also snapped bolts on the headers. So we got everything running really nice, and on our way down to Florida, everything was going swell. Then sometime in Florida, I think when we got to the Keys, or between parks in the Keys, I started noticing a very faint ticking noise, and initially I didn't think much of it. I went and inspected the exhaust manifolds, and I found that one of the bolts had backed out on the exhaust manifold, and it was one of the holes that I had to drill out and tap. So I was like, okay, got a replacement bolt, secured that, and I thought we would be okay, but then the ticking just kept increasing, and eventually it got to the point where it was very noticeable, and it was a very loud tick. So in doing research, I was thinking that it might be the camshafts or the another issue in the top half of the motor. So I didn't think it was that bad with the ticking, so we kind of pushed it off a little bit, just because I decided to try some additives. So I put in some special additives to the engine oil for the lifters and everything, and some detergents to see if anything was gummed up or anything, and it initially seemed to have worked, but then it got worse. So fast forward a little bit, I was doing research online, and I saw some people replacing camshafts and some people doing engine rebuilds. So I watched one YouTube channel, I can't remember totally the name, but they had their engine rebuilt by the engine builders in Glendale, Arizona. And the reason why this all ties in together is because May 12th we flew back to New York from Arizona. So we got invited to a wedding for a close friend of Jordana's daughter, and we were seeing if it would be possible to make the flight from somewhere here out west to New York. And we checked our JetBlue credit card, and we haven't used points from that credit card in over 10 years, and they don't expire, so we had enough points to pretty much cover the whole trip. I think out of pocket it cost us $800 because of some of the fees and paying for the baggage. But that was for all four of us, 2 adults, 2 kids, and we flew on the red eye out of Phoenix, and we flew that to New York on May 12th. So the reason why we chose the engine builders in Glendale, Arizona is because of a few reasons. One, we were in Arizona. We were actually in Tucson a week before that, before we were scheduled to fly out. 2, Phoenix Airport has JetBlue, and it was a direct flight to New York. And then Glendale is 20 minutes outside of Phoenix. So we figured we could leave the RV there while we fly and not have to worry about storage or figuring out a place to put it. They could work on the engine, see what's wrong with it, and then we would be gone for 10 days, and we should have it back by the time we land. We gotta get back to Phoenix. I also have a very close friend from high school days, school days in New York, and Boy Scouts, who let us keep the Jeep in his driveway. So we had everything set up. So we took the kids on their first commercial airline flight from Phoenix on a red-eye to New York, and I will say the kids did amazingly well. Not so much for Jordana and I, and we pretty much collapsed Saturday, and we were all shot Saturday night into Sunday. But needless to say, we had a great time visiting friends and family. We had a great time at the wedding, and it was nice to be back in New York, and they had good weather, so it made that all the more fun. There was a couple of sad parts about being in New York is that I got back to New York, and then I'm still in a bunch of my EMS chat groups from when I worked in New York, and I found out that one of my old coworkers lost his battle to cancer. So the week that the 10 days that we were going to be home in New York, after the wedding on Friday, there was a wake and memorial service for him that weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I attended his wake and paid respects to his family. His son, I was a co-worker of mine and friend. So yeah, so his name was William Bender, Senior, and we always called him Senior. And I remember when I first started working at the hospital with them, he would always get pissed off when I would sign up for the overtime. He would always say, "I'm stealing his overtime." Yeah. So yeah, rest in peace, Senior. Alright, so the other thing was I got the phone call from the engine builders, and they said they did an inspection of the top half of the engine, because I was pretty sure it might have been the camshafts, and they said it wasn't. They said the top half of the engine was good. The lifters were good. The rods, I think with the camshafts, there's another piece that can wear out. I can't remember, but they said it was good. And they said the tick was coming in from the block of the engine, so they had to remove the engine out of the RV, and they actually take it out of the front. So they removed the whole front, I guess, cowlings and bumpers and everything to get the engine out. So they did a complete rebuild. They found that the piston heads, the rings, and I'll show the video. It was a blurry cell phone video from the engine shop, but the rings weren't moving freely around the piston heads. It was all gummed up, built with carbon. They also found that 2 of the fuel injectors were completely shot, and then I actually had them replace all the fuel injectors. So I have 10 brand new fuel injectors in there. They also rebored the block, and the crank is turned 10 out of 10. The heads are peened and completely gone through and rebuilt. Then I also had them change out our Serpentine belt, because we were at 132,000 miles. So that's been on my to-do list, but I figured they have the engine out and they got to take the Serpentine old one off. Let's put a new one on. So yeah. So everything with the engine was rebuilt. It was put back in the RV, and as promised, they said the RV was going to be ready to pick up on Tuesday. We flew back Monday night from New York to Phoenix, landed like 10 o'clock at night. My buddy Dominic picked us up at the airport, and we went right to the hotel and just crashed. And then woke up the next day, and we were jet lagged with the 3-hour difference. So we were up super early. We actually went swimming in the pool, had fun, and then we took the ride down to in the mechanic shop, and yeah, we picked up the RV. So the RV is sounding really good. We've already driven now, I think, about 200 miles from Glendale, Arizona. We drove it up to Sedona, and then we drove it up through Flagstaff to here in Holbrook, Arizona. A lot of elevation. We're not flat towing the Jeep as of yet, because we have a 500-mile break-in period, which is what they tell you to do. And they gave me this whole packet of instructions and our warranty information for this engine. So yeah, we have a 500-mile break-in, and then I have to change the oil at 500 miles, and we have to do 2 oil changes with conventional oil before switching to synthetic. Then they said every 3,000 miles after that, and you have to use Motorcraft oil filter in order to keep the warranty from the engine company, the engine builders. So we do have a 2-year 24,000 mile warranty, or 3-year 36,000 mile warranty, whichever comes first. So there is that, which is good. The only problem is that the engine shop is out here in Glendale, Arizona, so if we start heading back east, you know, we'll deal with that if that comes to that. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. So we are continuing now with our travels here in Arizona. We're off to Grand Canyon after Memorial Day weekend, and yeah, we have hopefully a trouble-free RV from now on. So it actually sounds really good. I know a bunch of people have been asking to do a review on all the modifications I did to the RV. Now I can actually do that because we have basically a new engine. So I'm not going to have any other issues causing problems. So I think once I hit the 500 miles and I do the first oil change, I will then do mileage comparisons and the reviews on all the modifications, just because I'll then have 3,000 miles before the next oil change, so I'll be able to do a good amount of data in that period. Alright, I think that's it. Oh yeah, price tag. People are going to probably want to know. So I was quoted $7,500, which was everything. Take the engine out, rebuild it, do everything, and then put it back, obviously. But it actually came to just shy of $8,500 because I had 10 fuel injectors put in, and also the Serpentine belt and the extra labor that went with that. So we came in just shy of $8,500, which is a big hit for us because that's about 3 months of budgeting money on the road. Alright, so that is it. If you have any questions about the RV engine or where we got it, I'll put a link to their shop information down below if you're in the Glendale, Arizona or Phoenix area and you need work on your RV engine. Yeah, I would recommend them. So far, so good. I'll probably do an update when I get some more miles on this and let you know how it's running. I'll put a clip of the engine running and how it's sounding right now. That's about it. If you really want to help us out, please like and subscribe this video, and please subscribe and follow along. That would help immensely. So we're trying to now figure out how much longer we'll be able to do traveling here on the West Coast, and then we're lining up some jobs for the fall, and we'll probably be stationary back on the East Coast in Florida probably in October-ish time. So alright, thanks for watching this video. Hit the thumbs up, and back to regular fun travel videos coming up after this one. Alright, thanks everybody. See you on the next video. Stay lost.